Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Basically, where I take the genre news of the week and talk about it along with whatever else you want to talk about genre wise. So, let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. Sorry, I'm just moving my microphone out of my way there so you can also see the little head back there and whatnot. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to get a video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. I also have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Mork says, I liked what I saw and I subscribed. Hey, and we didn't have to say your name 3 times and you showed up. It's amazing. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know I was supposed to be here like an hour earlier. That means that Morks is on time because I was on Morks time is what happened. And yeah, I just got caught up in a time vortex. And yeah, there's just a lot of news that I was trying to find. And, there wasn't a lot of news, let's just say. So let's get to it, shall we? Jupiter's Legacy has been canceled. Yes. After 1 season at Netflix. So if you go back and take a look at my Is It Worth My Time? I said, no, it is not worth your time. It's pretty dismal. But since Netflix has a deal with Millar World and Mark Millar, they are going to be working on or going ahead with Super Crooks. That is the name of the title. That is set in the same world. That season has been greenlit for Super Crooks. I don't know how I feel about that, quite honestly. Yeah. So I really don't know how I feel about that. So I mean, Jupiter's Legacy was just so, bad that I kind of, going back on it, I think I didn't say strongly enough in my Is It Worth My Time that how bad it actually was. It's just kind of grown on me just how bad it is over time. It really has. And it's not a good show. And that's the whole thing is everyone involved in it is actually really good. I mean, Stephen DeKnight, who is the showrunner of this, he dropped the ball big time, I'm gonna say. Mark says, I love Jupiter Ascending. Jupiter's Legacy is bad. Jupiter Ascending, wasn't that the really bad Channing Tatum movie? Oh, is there a good Channing Tatum movie? No. But Channing Tatum is in that movie, Jupiter Ascending, with Mila Kunis, right? Is that the one where he wears the weird ears, the dog ears or something like that? Super Crocs? No, Super Crooks. Crooks. Revenge of the Footwear. Yeah. Super Crocs, the purveyors of bad taste. Yeah. But on the other hand, we did get some good news. Why the Last Man has finally gotten a fucking premiere date of September 13th on FX on Hulu, which means it's buried on Hulu someplace, another pay streaming service. Am I going to see it? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one. I really am. Yeah. I really don't know if I'm gonna watch it or not. It's a good book. I mean, it really is. The Brian K. Vaughan book is really, really good. And I know how it ends and everything. And it's got a terrific cast now that it's finalized. The cast is finalized, considering that they lost their leading man, I think, midway through production, and then they had to go back again, find somebody else. Yeah. So this whole thing has been cursed. I mean, it went through every single network before landing on FX at Hulu. So who knows? I don't know if I want to see it or not at this point. Yeah. Stanley says so. It'll be on the Disney Plus Star. Yeah, you fuckers over and across the pond are going to get it. We have to pay extra for it, unfortunately, here in the States. And that's the reason. That's the main reason why I haven't gotten Hulu. Is it pisses me off that we have to pay extra for that when no one else has to. It's just here in the United States that we have to pay extra for Hulu. They need to fold that into Disney Plus and just make it part of Disney Plus and let it go. Yeah. I will get to that in a little bit, Apple Crow. It is on my list. It is on my list of things. Sounds almost like the Uncharted movie. The Uncharted movie actually has gone by at supersonic speed compared to Y the Last Man. Y the Last Man was supposed to be a movie. Then it was supposed to be on Fox. Then it was supposed to be on HBO. Then it was supposed to be on where was it supposed to be? I think Paramount took a swipe at it. And then it was supposed to be over on NBC or Sci-Fi. I mean, literally, it hit every fucking network and movie studio as it was until it landed over on FX. So it's been everywhere. Whereas Uncharted had like 2 false starts of a movie, and then finally the third one. That's blazing speed compared to Y the Last Man. So yeah. And also in the same article, we got that season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows gets premiere date of September 2nd on FX. So that's going to be on FX itself instead of being buried on Hulu or something like that. But it will be shown on Hulu at one point in time. So Apple Crow says, after seeing Philly as Drake, I'm a hard sell on Tom Holland. I like Tom Holland. I mean, he's a goofy guy, but he's not altogether there. I'm talking about, smart wise more than crazy or anything like that. But yeah, um, Stanley says FX could be on these. Well, I don't know. Do you already have the first 2 seasons of What We Do in the Shadows available to you on the Disney Plus Star Channel as well, Stanley? If so, then you're probably going to get the 3rd season as well. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you guys have it all over there. We don't. Also, to no one's great surprise, Cruella 2 is in the works over at Disney. I just add that in because, it was a will they, won't they, will they, won't they, and they finally announced that yes, they are going to do it. So I haven't seen the other, the first movie yet. I know it's out in theaters and on Disney Plus Premium, which I'm not going to pay for. They just released Raya and the Last Dragon. So what kind of really made me laugh was that there was some stupid ass congressman who was up in arms about a gay character being in a prominently gay character in the movie Cruella. And he was like, it's ruined my childhood, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, go figure, a gay man in a movie about fashion. Oh my God. What are the odds of that actually happening? I mean, fucking dumbass. I mean, yeah, bigoted fucking dumbass, I should say. Bigoted fucking dumbass. There we go. Yeah. Stanley says, is that Cruella movie good now? The critics seem to be split. From what I've heard from people that have seen it, they like it. So Emma Stone's in it. She usually does a good job, and every movie that she's in. Has she been in a bad movie? I'm trying to think. I mean, she picks her projects fairly well, I have to admit, but I don't think I've ever seen her in anything bad. I can't think of anything bad that she's been in, quite honestly. Again, I haven't seen everything that she's been in, so I'm not the most definitive. I know more because you've seen every movie that she's been in, right? I mean, you're the one with the Emma Stone fetish. Am I correct? You tell me. Morks might be out walking the dog or something. Mork says I had to suffer through Cruella. I do not recommend it. The story is bad. Emma is gorgeous as always, and she did what she could. Okay, there we go. There's from the Emma Stone fan right there. You got that. You got that seal of unapproval. Stanley says to make all the villains not really evil seems a little stupid to me. I blame this with Lucas, to tell you the truth, when Lucas did the prequels. I mean, Vader was perfectly fine as he was, and then he had to go back and show us Anakin Skywalker and how he was, abused as a child, and he wasn't born that way. He just, took the wrong path and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, just fucking. It's Vader is Vader. Darth Vader is Darth Vader. We don't need explanation into it. Yeah, but it all goes back to Vader, man. It really does. It all goes back to Darth Vader. We don't need explanations as to why our villains are bad. Just, something bad happened to them in the past. They're evil now. Deal with it. There we go. I mean, if it's part of your story arc that they're going to become this way and it's a twist before you introduce us to the main villain, as in all their glory, then yes, by all means do it, but not after the fact. You don't go, 30 years after the fact and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to show you the reason why they became evil. And you might sympathize with them as well. Well, I don't want to. And yes, they did do the same with Maleficent. I agree with you. So Issa Rae is joining the Into the Spider-Verse sequel to voice Jessica Drew, also known as Spider-Woman. All right. Sure. I feel no way either way on that one. So, yeah. Although I do want to see Into the Spider-Verse too, because Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie ever made. Phillip Demick says, I don't see the Cruella controversy. Everyone knows not to go near cliffs with puppies around. It's one of the first things they teach you in Cub Scouts. Okay. I've never heard it said that way, but okay, sure. Mork says Maleficent is only a remake. I have enjoyed the first one only. Okay. Excuse me. Stanley said I like Maleficent, the first one, to be honest, is what he says. Yes. I think I saw it. I might have watched it on HBO Max or something like that. I did watch it on HBO Max and I kind of forgot about it. It was just kind of like, it was an Angelina Jolie movie. And I hate to say this, but she hasn't made a really good movie in a long time. And yeah, after that last one that I just saw, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Oh, wow. That was a stinker. I mean, it was essentially as a remake of Cliffhanger, is really what it was, but with firefighters or smoke jumpers, if you will. And then they added a kid into the mix too. So I was like, all right. And then the whole thing of the father writing down, all the secrets that he knows without any evidence to back it up whatsoever. And the kid puts it in his pocket and then spends literally, excuse me. And trust me, I'm not spoiling anything. It's already been pre-spoiled anyway. He spends like about 8-10 hours in a river with this thing in his pocket, this piece of paper with ink on it in his pocket. I don't think that shit's going to be readable afterwards unless they put it in a plastic baggie. So, from what I heard, Eternals is already getting a sequel. They've already greenlit Eternals 2. And I heard that Eternals is amazing, is what I've heard. But then again, every Marvel movie, because you have Kevin Feige looking out for everybody at this point. I mean, with the except, even a bad Marvel movie is still a good movie. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's just, it's entertaining, but it's not like bad where you go, fuck, I want to walk out of this. I mean, Ed Norton's, Hulk, yeah, Captain Marvel, eh, but yeah. Stanley says, seeing is believing the trailer is subpar. For you, it's subpar. I actually enjoyed the trailer. I just hope they explain away why the Eternals didn't join in the Infinity War fight. Why they just kind of stood back. They need to actually talk about that. So Donnie Yen is joining John Wick 4, and he's going to play one of John Wick's friends who they grew up together. So they all have the same enemies. Basically, he and John Wick have the same enemies involved, which is kind of interesting because Donnie Yen was actually in a movie that was directed by Keanu Reeves. So I know they're friends and whatnot. So that should be fun. I mean, John Wick 4 is going to be fun. Let's face it. The third one wasn't a great movie, but it was still a good movie. It was still a lot of fun. Uh, he kills a shit ton of people. Yes, he does. But then again, he did in the first two movies as well. So, I mean, the body count just keeps getting higher as he goes up in these movies. And I am looking forward to the Hotel Continental whenever that comes out. And there's another spinoff. So there's two different spinoffs: the Hotel Continental or the Continental Hotel, either way, and then also the Ballerina. So they're going through the two different versions there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like Donnie Yen movies as well, and that they keep coming out on Netflix, which is awesome. So I mean, you could just watch them without. I mean, sometimes, of course, they skip the theater and whatnot. See, that's the one thing about the digital age that kind of sucks is you don't get a lot of stuff, coming out on DVD or video or whatnot, or to small art house theaters or something like that. Like we used to get a lot of Hong Kong productions that came out in San Francisco, and it was actually kind of cool. You go and see, some Hong Kong actioneer movie that came out that was considered not to be a big market item over here in the United States, but it would always hit San Francisco in some small theater or whatnot. And you'd get like a month of it being shown. So I could actually go in, and there was a theater that was down on Polk Street. Yeah. That kind of a small theater had three small theaters in there, and they would always show like international movies and stuff like that. And that was always fun to go in and see what new international movies they had. Apple Crow says, I was loving 3 until Holly Berry was in it. She might be my least favorite actor out of anyone, really. Uh, yeah, her character wasn't necessary, but it was okay. I like the dogs. The dogs are actually kind of cool. That was the one thing that I kind of like that she introduced was the dogs. Yeah. Stanley says the only one I have seen with him is Rogue One. Really? Rogue One's the only Donnie Yen movie you've ever seen? He's been in a shit ton of movies. He produces, directs. I believe he's even written some movies that are in Hong Kong. And yeah, it's a lot of martial arts movies. A lot of martial arts movies. The Ip Man series is him as well. So there's Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think. Yeah. So I think 4 was the last one. And that's actually pretty good as well. Ip Man being the legend of Kai. Oh fuck, now I can't remember his name. He's basically was an herbalist that also knew martial arts and stuff like that. And yeah. And actually there's always a huge storytelling of this forever in China. They're always telling stories about this dude, and different actors have played him, and Donnie Yen does a great job of playing him. Does a great job. Yeah. Apple Crow says, to me, the dogs was just copying John's story, but giving them armor, teaching them to fight, and then getting worked up that someone might hurt them. Yeah, it was a little bit, but also I just like seeing the dogs doing stunts, man. The dogs were awesome, you know. Stanley says, Blade 2, maybe. I'm not a fan of martial arts movies. Okay. I like martial arts movies. I grew up, I've said this before, Saturday mornings, we used to have, you have the cartoons, and then in the afternoons, we had the local station would have Kung Fu Matinee Theater is what it was called. And so they would run just all these Shaw Brothers movies pretty much all throughout the afternoon on Saturdays. And so that's how I saw my Shaw Brothers movies from the 70s, all the martial arts movies, people on wires flying around and stuff like that, and the Golden Harvest Shaw Brothers. So that was how I got introduced to all of that. No, you're thinking so Ip Man is the name of the series. The name of Bruce Lee's mentor is oh shit, now I'm blanking on it. And I should know this. It's not Ip. I think it starts with a Y, if I remember correctly. Oh, see, now you're gonna make me look it up. All right, fine. Teacher. It says teacher actually. Bruce Lee's teacher, Ip Man. Yeah. Okay. So it is. It's actually known. Yip Man is what I know it as with a Y. So that's why I remember it as Yip Man. I know Ip Man is I believe, the westernized version of it. So yeah, sure, you're correct. Mork says in Ip Man, he is the mentor of Bruce. Oh, okay. Yes, Yip Man. All right, what else I got going on here? So there was a trailer for a Mark Wahlberg movie called Infinite. Um, and supposedly it's going to stream exclusively on Paramount Plus, which means nobody's going to see it except for those people who still hold on to their accounts because they've forgotten they've activated it with Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, on June 10th. So Infinite is supposed to be, it's actually got an impressive cast, but it's supposed to be about these people, a group of people that are reincarnated into, so when they get reincarnated, they know all of their training from their previous lives. So it only takes them a couple hours to regain that training by basically fighting a little bit. And then they remember what their training is, and blah blah blah. And so Mark Wahlberg's character is supposed to be in a internal struggle with a bad guy, of course, and your Highlander reference, you can add it in there. And supposedly the bad guy has something sinister that he's going to unleash upon the world that's going to kill everybody, thus ending the immortal cycle. Yeah. Luckily, it's on Paramount Plus, so no one will ever see it. It's not coming out to theaters, from what I understand. It's Paramount Plus exclusively, is what it said in the trailer. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you really want to see, like, what is it? Is he 60 years old now, Mark Wahlberg, or something like that? Doing stunts. It's kind of like watching what's his name, Tom Cruise doing stunts now. I mean, yeah, I know he's in his mid 50s or whatever, or late 50s, but I really don't want to see him running anymore. Tired of it. He might be tired too, but I don't know. Maybe it's all the blood of virgins that he's been eating that keeps him young. Also, in the same kind of vein, August 20th, we get a movie with Hugh Jackman called Reminiscence. That's both in theaters and on HBO Max. So a wider group of people are actually going to see that. And that one takes place in a future world where the waters have risen quite a bit, and people end up doing something called nostalgia, where they put like a little headgear on and they relive the past, is what it is. And so Hugh Jackman is actually looking for a past lover or something like that, and there's something, she has disappeared, and so he's going into the past memories to learn more about her, which is kind of odd. At the same time, people are trying to stop him from looking for her. Yeah. It's actually Mark's B day today. What is he? 82? Marks, or is he only 72? I always forget how old he is. Stanley Twill says, "Isn't he in Uncharted?" Yeah, he's actually one of the main characters in Uncharted. Mark Wahlberg, Stanley. He plays the dad, I think, or maybe he's playing the son. I don't know. He might be playing the son to Tom Holland's dad. I don't know. So yeah, his one of his burger franchise chains or whatever, the Wahlburger thing, is nearby where I live right now. And I'm kind of tempted to just try it, but then on the other hand, I don't want to give him any more money. So it's that catch 22. It really is. Yeah. Happy birthday, Marky Mark. Do a funky beat for us, man, and dance. Yeah. Here's something good that we're all looking forward to. Marvel's What If series is going to premiere on Disney. We actually got a date now of August 6th. And that's going to be on a Friday, of course. So that is when the 15th episode of the Bad Batch actually airs as well. So we have two episodes of the Bad Batch and Marvel's What If that are going to overlap, which is going to make my life hell for reviewing for 2 weeks. But after that, it should be good. Yeah. But I'm actually looking forward to it. I want to see this Marvel's. It's an animated series, by the way, and I'm looking forward to it. Marvel's What If, the comic, was one of those mainstays I used to get when I was a kid. Um, from the 70s, the 80s, even into the 90s, and then when they rebooted it again in the early 2000s. Excuse me, my throat is just all kinds of weird. So, and like I said before, on that last episode of the Bad Batch, I'm giving away the mug and the ears there. The light up ears. Ooh, that's right. It's Star Wars themed Disney ears, straight from Disneyland. That's right, straight from Disneyland. Yes, probably less than 30 minutes an episode. Probably around the 24-minute mark. Phillip Ademic says, I got detention in middle school fighting over What If number 27. What was that one? Was that the Clone Wars one or the Clone Saga, or what was that one? I don't remember what they are, honestly, by number. Oh, wait, Philip, I do have something for you. Or Stanley, I have something for you. Wasn't Philip. I think it was Stanley. Outlander season 6 starts on February on Stars. I think you were the only person that was interested in that. So, yeah, there you go. Uh, yeah. I consider Outlander the series that ruined Stars for everything else. Counterpart, Ash versus Evil Dead, any other series that was coming after it since, yeah. Oh, Phoenix Had Lived, that's the one. Well, with Phoenix Had Lived, she basically destroys the entire universe, right? So, if I remember correctly, I remember reading that one. I don't remember the story. I remember it existed. But I think she destroys most of them dealt with, well, what if this had happened? Well, if it had happened, basically it's the end of all the universe, or the end of the world, or, the end of this character. It was always the end of stuff. which kind of spawned the Marvel series title, Marvel: The End. Stanley, I was right. But there you go. I knew you'd be interested in that one. That's why I put it in there for you. Uh, I'm not shaming you about it. I really am not. Yeah. Well, it hasn't been greenlit for like 5 more seasons or something like that. Yeah. And Morks, the chaos walking author Patrick Ness is working on a script right now for a prequel to Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World. I really liked Master and I can't believe it. It came out in 2003, Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World. Now, for those of you who've never seen that movie, it stars, of course, Paul Bettany and Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe being the lead in this one, the main lead. And it takes place aboard a naval ship during the Napoleonic era, a British naval ship, and they are hunting down the Spanish. Is basically what they're doing on the high seas, and they're going after a large frigate. And it's a great little slice of life aboard a ship at that time in that era in the military, and I really dug it. I mean, it's a good movie. Every time it comes on, I'm a sucker. I'll be drawn into it, and that's it for me. I'm gonna watch the entire thing. Um, so there's a book series that Patrick O'Brien, I believe is the name of the author, did on this. I still want to find the whole series and read it because it is very involved into like the rigging and stuff like that, and then life aboard these ships at that time. And Applecrow says French in the movie, the Spanish in the books. Oh, that's right. Spanish in the books. That's right. And the French in the movie. That's what it was. That's right. Yes. Um, Dante S says that movie has been on my watch later list on Prime for months. Never seen it. Oh, Dante S, you got to watch it. It's actually really good. I think it's one of Russell Crowe's best movies. And people say it's slow. It's not. It's not slow. It's a again, like I say, it's a slice of life aboard these British naval vessels at the time. And if you're into nautical stuff, I guess you could say, if you're into the sea, that kind of thing, you're going to enjoy it. If you're not, then you probably won't. uh, Apple Crow says slow people say it's slow. Yeah, I agree with you on that. There's actually a great Twitter battle between some guy basically called it a bad movie, and because they're talking about Russell Crowe movies, what was his greatest movie, and someone mentioned Master and Commander, and the guy said something about that it was it was a shitty movie, and Russell Crowe actually comes in and weighs in on it. And goes, "Only stupid people call it that," and I mean he just goes off on this guy, and it's a great little if you Google it, it happened recently, like, I wanna say the beginning of this year or the end of last year, somewhere around there, and it's hilarious, actually. He just rips into the dude, and the dude apologizes. And he doesn't do it in a mean way either, but, he does rip into him. Dante S says, "Gladiator is his best movie." No, Gladiator's got its own problems. Applecrow says, "For a fictionalized story, it's incredibly historically accurate." Yeah, exactly. And you're never gonna get its like again. It was infamously expensive to film. I think they lost one of the ships, if I remember correctly, in a storm, and well, also the director is dead too. So Peter Weir, he passed on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Now I've got to look that up too because I can't remember. I can only keep so much information in my head. So I'm sorry. Oh, and IMDb is gonna be very slow. it's just chugging along. Well, while that's chugging along there, let's see. Uh, yeah, I knew someone was going to bring that one up. Apple Crow says Master and Commander and Gladiator, but with ships and weevils. Mork says Brothers, What We Do in Life echoes in Eternity. Yeah. Both movies, Gladiator and Master and Commander, were good, in my opinion, is what Mork says. I can give you that. Okay. There we go. I still can't believe that movie was made in 2003. All the way back in 2000. I mean, oh, man. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 18 minutes long. So Peter Weir was the director. I believe he passed away, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's still alive. I take that back. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I, for some reason, thought he had passed away, but I was mistaken. Apple Crow says Thomas Cochrane is one of those little known historical badasses. He was demoted and punished with a command of a 14 gun boat and went on to capture multiple heavier ships. Huh. Crow's best movie is Les Mis. Yeah. Okay. hmm You'll forgive me if I don't take that as gospel, Stanley. Apple Crow says, including a Spanish ship of a line that outgunned them 3-1. Yeah. Philip Ademic says, I wish they would do the actual Thomas Cochrane story instead of fictionalized Master and Commander. Crow's best movie is Virtuosity. Oh, God, what a horrible movie. Actually, you know what Russell Crowe's best movie is? The Quick and the Dead. Enough said. Mic drop. There you go. That is Russell Crowe's best movie is The Quick and the Dead. Hey, Mr. Roboto. No, it's not. It made a lot of money, Mr. Roboto, the first one. So of course they're doing a sequel. Speaking of sequels and stuff like that, let's talk about Justice League, shall we? The Snyder Cut. Because I'm actually tired of hearing of Zack Snyder talk about it. No one wants to see a sequel other than the very few Zack Snyder fans. I understand he wants to do the sequel. He wants to keep working with these characters. But if you go back and take a look at he arguably has the most recognized worldwide characters to work with. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I'm not even gonna get into the Flash at this point, right? So he's got 3 characters that are recognized worldwide. The most recognized, even more so than Spider-Man and, Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. Yet Man of Steel did not break $1 billion. I believe it made around $800,000. Still nothing to sneeze at, but Batman versus Superman only made $600 million. Batman versus Superman, okay, didn't make $1 billion. You know what did make $1 billion those years that came out? So when Superman came out, Superman, Man of Steel, whatever you want to call it, at that time, Thor: Dark World actually crossed the $1 billion threshold. That's the second Thor, the really bad one that no one really mentions. The one with Natalie Portman getting the one of the Infinity Stones inside of her. That made $1 billion. $1 billion with a B. Also, when Batman versus Superman came out, you know what else made $1 billion? Where that one only made 600 million was Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, the one that is considered the worst out of the Iron Mans, the last Iron Man movie, that made over $1 billion. So again, if you cannot make $1 billion movie with those characters, you do not deserve to be the director for a fourth movie or a sequel to it. It's never going to happen for you. Move on, get a new director, find a new vision for it, find a happier vision for Justice League, and move on with it because Zack Snyder is the wrong person for that movie, series, franchise, if you want. There we go. Phillip says WB is sending mixed messages about the Snyderverse being dead with all of this talk about the Flash movie rewrites. Yeah, that Flash movie needs to die. It really does. I know they are saying that all the so what they're trying to say is that all these different universes exist at the same time and they don't cross over with each other necessarily, which is bad for your business as yeah, especially when you have such good properties. That is the stupidest thing to do is go, oh, you know what, we're going to make all these different universes and they don't cross over with each other and it doesn't make any difference really anyway. No, it doesn't work that way. Even to your casual fan, they're going to get confused. That's what I said, Mark's Iron Man 3. That's the one. I mean, Iron Man 2 is not great either, but Iron Man 3 was really weak. Yeah. Stanley says, I liked Iron Man 3 better than I liked Iron Man 2. Well, yeah, it's because, you had, what's his face in there? Mickey Rourke, who badmouthed Marvel. I love how he badmouthed, the Marvel universe and all that kind of stuff as being a shitty place to work and whatnot. It's like, well, yeah, that's because you're a shitty actor and they probably just treated you that way. But hey, sure, whatever, man. Take those cracked teeth elsewhere. Have you ever seen his teeth? Watch the first Expendables when he's crying and they do a close up of his face for like a minute and a half, and they get to see the burned out stubs of Mickey Rourke's teeth from being burned on the crack pipe they used to smoke, allegedly. Yeah, I'm not a big Mickey Rourke fan. Speaking of actors and actresses that rub you the wrong way. So Stanley Twill says, I'm the only one saying Iron Man 2 is worse. Okay. But yeah, so that's my rant about Snyder. He should not be involved in the DC universe anymore or the Snyderverse. It should just die and be left alone. The Snyder Cut was just a much more boring version of the one that was released in the theaters years ago by Whedon. It really was. It was a much longer, much more boring version of it, and no one ever needs to see it again. Move along, move along. Nothing to see here. Let him do Army of the Dead 15 or something like that. I mean, Army of the Dead it had its moments that were there if there was a more cohesive thought process uh in whoever the writer was. Oh, that's right. It was Snyder who was the writer. That's right. If there was a more cohesive thought process in the editing, who was oh wait, that was right. Snyder was the editor on that one too, and also the DP and the director. So yeah. Um no, he doesn't deserve having a big franchise like the DC universe at all. Give it to somebody else. Give it to someone who's a fan of the DC universe and move along. And also, they're not going to be getting Henry Cavill back anyway. Cavill. There we go. Thanks, Mr. Roboto. I am saying the Snyderverse should not continue at all. It should die. Basically, it should be shot like it was in the Snyderverse. Dante S says Army of the Dead missed the mark to say the least. Yeah, it did. It missed its mark. So Supposedly, there were robot zombies in Army of the Dead. Those were the zombies that had blue eyes and had metal for some reason underneath their skin when it peeled back. Although that wasn't explained in the movie anywhere at all. I guess Snyder had to explain that later on. And yeah, and I guess the time travel element that one of the characters was mentioning to the safe cracker when they were down there actually was part of the story as well, because the guns that are lined up inside the vault are actually from how many times that was the fourth time they were going in there into the vault. So those were their bodies that were laying there by the yeah, again, like I said, there's so many stupid fucking things that were in that movie that are now only coming out because Snyder is retconning stuff in interviews and whatnot. That yeah, it's preposterous at this point. Just yeah, do Sucker Punch too. Exactly. Just do Sucker Punch 2, put everyone out of their misery, see if you can get financing for it. That's great. Move along. Move along, move along. Do your own stuff. Stop, you know, fucking up other franchises. And the reason why Dawn of the Dead was a better movie, his version of it, was because James Gunn did the script for it. There, I said it. He had a better director write a movie for him, and he directed that script. That's the only reason why Dawn of the Dead works. And also the only reason why 300 works is because it was already storyboarded for him in the book. And all he had to do was follow along with the pages. Yeah. Whereas his Army of the Dead was the advertisement for the 4-hour Snyder cut of Army of the Dead. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We have J.J. Abrams and we have Zack Snyder for ruining franchises, movie franchise. And J.J. Abrams is doing his best to go across all different franchises and destroy as many as possible. I mean, what he's destroyed Star Trek. He's destroyed. I know he's been in Marvel as well. Now he and his son wrote some really stupid ass Marvel comic that just sucked balls. Um, Yet I know he's trying to get into Star Wars now to fuck that up too. Well, he also destroyed Star Wars as well, I should say. No, he's trying to get into what else now? He's trying to get into DC now. That's right. J.J. Abrams is trying to get into DC. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Roboto, but no one should give Snyder a chance. It's improv. You mean he's just doing stage play and he's just filming it? Is that all it is? And they're improvising everything? There's no editing involved? I can see how there's no editing involved. So nope, nope, nope. Snyder needs to go far, far away from stuff. Applecrow says, I remember Henry Abrams saying in the comic announcement, thank you. Wait, why are we thanking them? And JJ has to jump in and do damage control. Yeah. Yeah. That's what entitlement is, boys and girls. Right there. And nepotism. Yes, Stanley, watch it. Watch Sweet Tooth if you haven't already started. I'm going to be covering that on Tuesday. All right. Spider-Man versus Nepotism Boy, exactly. Spider-Man versus Nepotism, the destruction of the Marvel Universe. So that's actually a perfect segue into what's going on next week. Well, I'm off Sunday and Monday, but Tuesday I'm coming back with another episode of Is It Worth My Time? This time around, It's the Netflix series Sweet Tooth. That's right, based on the graphic. Well, actually, not the graphic novel, the comic Sweet Tooth is what's going on. Um, Wednesday is going to be Loki. That's right, the Disney Plus series Loki. Thursday, I'm off. Friday is another episode of The Bad Batch, and we see if Wrecker gets that damn chip out of his head. And the rest of them, if they get that chip out of their head too. And then, of course, we roll back around again to Saturday with Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. What's low key, Stanley? Mork says Loki. Finally. Yeah, I know. It's like we've been waiting forever for that movie or the show. I know. No, Snyder does not need to be involved in that. He's destroying enough properties as it is. He doesn't need to be in everything. Yeah. Man. Wow. I had something really, really mean in my head that I was going to say, and I'm like, luckily I didn't say it because it was just going to be really super fucking mean. So, yeah, I caught myself on that one. Anyway, it is kind of a depressing story, Stanley, but the show's good. I'm just going to say that. And you got John Goodman narrating it. I think John Goodman's narrating it. So. Mork says, as if you said nice things. No, Morks, this was going to be pretty nasty. It was something really nasty, and I was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't say that to anybody. I'd think it, but I wouldn't say it. Anything's less depressing than Walking Dead. All right. Well, I'm out of news, and I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can as well, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. And also I have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Morks and Mr. Roboto and Stanley and Phillip. And am I missing anybody else here? I know there's other people. And Dante S. and Apple Crow. Yes, I got everybody in there. I think so. Yes. Yes, I did. Thank you guys, everybody. I will see you guys again on Tuesday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just get your life rewritten by the SpiderVerse, and it's really a short thing, and it kind of messes everything up. You really don't want it to be done. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you again on Tuesday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and I will see you again on Tuesday. Have a good rest of your weekend.